Hi everybody, welcome to a 4th level fighter, basically a tutorial video on my Foundry setup for Dragonbane. I've had someone ask what modules I use to get the game that I run, and I'm going to show you the list of modules, and some of them I don't use all the time, and there's one or two that I actually don't know what they do, but I just have never disabled them to find out. So let's just take a look. So if I come up to my manage modules, and I can do the active modules. So the two Argon Combat HUD Core and Combat HUD Dragonbane, these I love. What this will do, this puts your HUD up down here on the bottom of the screen, and from here you got access to your combat rolls, you got access to doing your rest, to evading, things like that. You can also end your turn. You can click on your heroic abilities and easily access those. If you have spells, like if we do Aedan, his spells will show up here. Here's the list of his spells, and it's easy to, let me get him off there, easy to cast the spells directly from the HUD. Saves a ton of time other than having to open your character, have it in another window, pop it out, and then go through and manually do those things. So especially as the game master, it's much faster when I'm running a lot of enemies to just use this HUD down here in the bottom corner. The other ones we've got here, Bithir's Dragonbane mods. I actually don't know what's in there. Someone told me use it, and so I've got it on there. I'm sure it does something. I couldn't tell you what. Custom playlist. This is just a custom module that I made, and I just keep all of my things that are not from my other playlist, and we'll get to that at the end. But if I've got sounds, and I've purchased soundscapes from Drive-Thru RPG or direct from Patreon through Plate Mail Games. Wes Otis does fantastic work. I've got a lot of his products in there. Dice So Nice. This is almost a must-have. Dice So Nice is what makes your dice appear on the screen. I'm going to turn the HUD off. If you want to know how to turn off the HUD, there's two ways you can do it. You can right-click on your character, and there's these little cross swords. Click on that, and the HUD will go away. Click on it and it will come back, or I've got it set to auto turn on, so if I just click a token it will pull up the HUD. But if I want to turn it off, I can click on here or over here. You can't see it on my screen because I've got it cut off, but up here on the left hand toolbar under the actors tab, there's going to be the two crossed swords as well, and that will turn off the HUD. Anyway, back to Dice So Nice. That makes the 3D dice appear. Dice tray, that gives you the dice rollers, so you can manually roll dice rather than having to type in the commands. Honestly, I probably type in the commands just as much as I use the dice tray. Dragonbane Bestiary and the core set, these are premium modules that you buy from Free League that has all of the stuff in there. Dragonbane Custom Stuff, that's a module that I made that I just store my custom actors, my custom journals, custom scenes, custom items, custom rollable tables, custom playlists, etc. And that way, if I have multiple worlds for Dragonbane, like this is my Dragonbane one-shots. This is kind of my working game world, but I also have a one-shots master that has all of my stuff in there. And then I've got for different campaigns, I've got it all in there. So this way I can activate this module in the other Dragonbane games and have access to all of my stuff. And then FX Master, this adds special effects like weather, snow, rain, fog, things like that. GM screen, I really don't use this much, but it pops up a little GM screen and you can have tables. I kind of put this on early when I was playing Dragonbane. I've just never gotten rid of it. I really only use it for like fear, and that's it. I should probably get rid of it. The library color settings, that is one of the other modules needs. The chat commands, this allows you in the chat bar to type in, like to begin typing in something, and then it will show you options. So if you don't remember, how do I whisper to someone? Well, you do the /, and it will show you what you need to type to make that work. The Lib wrapper, that's just like that color settings. It's just a dependency. Media optimizer, this will let you turn like JPEG or PNG files into WebP files, which take up significantly less space. And so if you are running out of space on the Forge or Molten or on your hard drive, then you can use this to optimize those clips. Amongst active tile triggers, I use this for traps and things. This is actually super useful. It's worth learning how to do it. I'm not a pro at it by any stretch, but I can do kind of what I need with it. Amongst combat details, honestly, I don't know what that does. I think it just adds to, like, you can't start a combat without initiative and things like that. Amongst combat marker, this is really cool. It puts a little, if I drag a couple people here into a combat, and then if I begin the combat, well, I need to draw initiative, otherwise it's going to tell me. So I draw initiative cards, and then when I begin combat, now you can see this character has this little blue ring around them. That lets me know that it's their turn. And so I can always just at a glance, you can see, oh, it's this person's turn. They've got a ring going around them. So it makes it super easy. I really like that one. Monk's little details, honestly, I don't know what that does. Monk's scene navigation, I like this versus the native scene navigation. It's much more organized. It's easier for me if I have a lot of scenes to run. It's going to show up kind of up here at the top. I'm not sure if you can't even see it on my screen, but it's just up above what you can see, and it just shows all my scenes in a very easy to read section on there. Narrator tools, this lets me either send text that I can highlight, and then I can either narrate it and it will show up like a scrollable something on the screen like Star Wars, or which tends to go too fast, either too fast or too slow. I rarely use that, but it lets me also just send it right to chat, which is nice. Ownership viewer, that lets me see at a glance who has access to what. So here, like, I've got some journals. I can see on this icon that everyone has observer status on that, and they don't, and no one but me can see the Sirenscape that has like my passwords and stuff on there. I'm not going to show you that. There's also pop out, lets you pop out like character sheets or journals, things, so that they're not cluttering your screen. Like this module management thing is just cluttering my screen up here. There is also puzzle locks. This is a premium module from the Ripper, and this, I've used it just a couple times, and I think that's the key, is use it sparingly. But when you do, it's actually really cool. There's different ciphers and image puzzles and combinations and things that just gives the players something a little, I dare say tactile, but it's not tactile because it's in a game, but it gives them a unique experience to unlock doors or locks. Quick insert, the search widget just lets you search for things. Quick send to chat lets you send images or items or things into chat. Simple fog, if you're running maps, and it's an easy way just to obscure some of the map. I use that sparingly, almost never in Dragonbane, but I do use it in like Call of Cthulhu and other games. Smart Target, I think this is a premium module from the Ripper, and this one, when you go to target someone, you hover over their token and hit T, and I get this really awesome looking reticle. Much easier to see than just the little 4 diamonds in the corner. So it's clear to see, who's targeting, or who am I targeting. Socket lib, that's another dependency. Splatter is one of my favorite premium modules from the Ripper. This one, when someone's hit points are reduced by 50% of their current amount, it will show blood on the screen, and when they get hit again, there's more blood. When they walk, you'll see like little bloody footprints. It adds a ton to it. And then you can, I can add blood splat to that token, and then I can clear all the blood off if I want to. Sirenscape control, if you're using Sirenscape for sound, it lets you have access to their sound system. Most of my sound comes from this tabletop RPG music cloud streaming. I kind of mentioned I would talk about that, and so that will show up. I've got these atmospheres, combat, suspense, things like that. These are all through that app, that module, Tabletop RPG Music. Timer, I don't use it a lot in Dragonbane, but I use it a lot in other games like Mothership, and I use it in Shadow Dark. It just lets you set up a timer, and then it will go off, and you get like a 30-second warning, and it's very adjustable. Tokenizer makes it easy to make tokens. Sometimes it's a pain, but for the most part, I like it. Torch will add a little icon up here. You can click on to make a torch, or I actually use a macro, and the macro is super useful. Let me show you. And so the macro will pull up, once you've highlighted a token, it will pull up this little scene, or this little pop-up, lets you choose the type of light source. Let me just show you the macro. Oh, let me get this HUD off the screen. So here is the macro, and I think I found this. I think it was on Discord, but you just copy, paste this into a macro, and then it lets you use that torch in a really cool and clever way. So definitely a fan of that. Year Zero actions and the Year Zero engine combat. This is specific to like Free League games that use the Year Zero combat engine. This, I think, is what lets you do like the initiative cards and things like that. So these are the modules that I use. Do I use all of them all of the time? No, but this is what I pretty much keep active in my games. There's a few that you can live without, but there are some, especially the premium ones, that are very much a quality of life improvement. So I want to keep this video relatively short. I'm getting ready to run the Hag's Hut here in 15 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get all set for that, and hopefully the game goes well. And I hope that this has helped people kind of know what I use for how my games appear, and for my players and for those who are watching these videos. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to catch the Hag's Hut later tonight.